Welcome to Heart, where we talk about games, movies, and animes, young and old. And today we're talking about the season finale of The Boys, the series finale of The Boys. And was it good? Or was it extremely disappointing? Now, the short non spoiler answer was the season finale good? Yes. Could it have been better? Definitely. But for the kind of season that they've given us, honestly, this season finale, I think was pretty good. The thing that kind of just annoys me a lot is that it could have been so much better. There was so much wasted time in season 5, and all of that time could have went to prepping us for a much better ending. Like, it's funny to say that things in the final episode were rushed when they had no reason to be rushed. It's just that they literally wasted their time. And characters like Soldier Boy, so yes, I liked it, but I also have a lot of critiques to say. So I'm gonna say spoilers now. So spoilers. Soldier Boy is the most useless fucking character in this entire season. Soldier Boy and honestly V1 in general. But the addition of this V1, what was the point of it? Like, what was the point of adding in if not to just promote the new Vought Rising show? Like, literally, what was the point? The whole thing was like, he can't get V1 because he's going to be immortal if he gets V1. And then he gets the V1 and does literally nothing. He does nothing. He did nothing. Nothing happens. And they advertise it to you as if he is going to destroy an entire continent or something like that. Like, he's literally, Homelander's in outer space looking down on scorched earth. You know, they use promotion from the comic book of Billy Butcher walking on the lawn of the White House with a whole bunch of soups above it, including Homelander. And all the actors are like, oh, it's so crazy. It's the craziest thing we've ever done. Like, main characters don't even make it. You're going to be so surprised. They kill off one member of the boys. And they do it off screen. they do it fucking off screen. Like, the character gets off screened, Frenchie, in episode 7. Yes. Like, Frenchie gets off screen. I have no idea why they decided to do that. He has his little standoff with Homelander, and then Homelander just leaves and he's just bleeding, crawling on the ground. And it's like, why did they take it out? Apparently he like stabs him. Viltrumite stabs him with his hand through the tummy, but they just cut that out and he gets off screen. Now, Frenchie, the actor, a fucking piece of shit. I can't believe the amount of information we learned about this fucking guy in the middle of the last season. What are we supposed to do with that? I'm glad that out of all the boys, he died, but still, that was also a very crazy point. Like, watching this season, I'm going, how the fuck have they not addressed anything regarding this guy? And like, I'm not gonna sit here and give you the lesson. Go and look it up for yourself. For a show that makes fun of literally everything and everyone, they did not come close to anything involving Frenchie at all, and that kind of pissed me off. So I'm glad he's dead. Fuck him. Characters like Allfather, I think it's funny how unanimously everyone is like, yes, we really like this character. And it really feels like his story was not over. Like, there was still a lot more with him, I think. And they just blackballed him. They multiverse of madness blackballed him, basically. It's kind of sick, but you just feel like there's more to him, you know? But they were running out of time, and they knew that. Because they wasted 6 episodes, because I really liked episode 5. They wasted like 6 episodes on basically nothing. So they had to just kill a character like that. Just boom, and now he's dead. With characters like the Deep, much more fitting ending at literally every single turn, every single chance to have some sort of redemption. You literally have the woman, Starlight, who he sexually assaults, and she is giving him a branch. You know, she is trying to be like, you can still be a good person, or not be a good person. You can still do the right thing. You know what I mean? You can still take responsibility and actually do something. And he just is like, no. But the whole thing with that's also stupid. She picks up the Deep. They go flying wherever they end up. And where is it they end up, you know? For their big climactic fight between Starlander and the Deep, they end up on a beach. Why? It's perfect for us, but strategically, that makes no fucking sense, because why would she bring him to the beach? That's where he's supposed to be the strongest, is in the water. Nobody knows that the fish want to kill him, which is like perfect. I love that the fish want to kill him, but she doesn't know that. And then her final hit on him to put the nail in the coffin is to blast him in the water. Imagine blasting Aquaman into the water. Why would you do that? That's the stupidest fucking thing to do. But then he dies in a very poetic way where, like, you know, he was dating an octopus and like kills the octopus. And then he kills Black Noir's acting teacher with an eel through the butt, I think it was. when he was on the toilet. So now he gets an octopus through the butt, out of the throat, dies in the water. I wish it was dragged out longer. Truly, I wish that scene was longer. But again, they were running out of time because they wasted 6 episodes on literally nothing, on some V1 shit that meant nothing. And then the whole thing with Soldier Boy, it was like, Soldier Boy won't do it, so I guess we can just make Kamiko do it. And then it just works. It just works. It all just seems too easy. And the thing that bothered me with Kamiko being the one at the end to take away Homelander's powers, like it kind of, that's why it made me so mad with Soldier Boy. Because what was the point of adding in Soldier Boy if he was not the one to do it? And then why Kamiko? Why not like Ryan? Why couldn't Ryan be the one to do it? Let's give him, a little bit more to do instead of Kamiko, who it's like her whole character arc is that she's more than a weapon. And then we make her the weapon, like the weapon. What's with that? I don't know. That is just weird. Is it not weird? That's like super weird to me. Like in the end, when Kamiko is the one to make Homelander lose his powers, it was all just too easy. It all seemed too easy. Homelander literally flies a dude into space in 3 seconds. And then he can't even pick up William Butcher and throw him through, like go through the building or do anything. Like the whole fight at the end was so tame and it just felt like Homelander was holding back realistically. Like he can move at a blink of an eye when Frenchie's tapping on the wall, but when he's in an actual fight, he has no idea what he's doing, which could actually be more of a commentary on his character. I like when Ryan shows up when he does. I have literally no complaints about that at all. Like I think that's totally fine. How Homelander, he gets his powers taken away. He becomes an absolute, just like A-Train says, he becomes an absolute groveling loser, and we see him at his absolute lowest point begging for his life, and it's perfect. It's amazing. Butcher turns back into the boogeyman standing over top of him so menacingly, like this is for my Becca, gets the crowbar right through the skull, cracks his head open. It's quite insane to see considering everything we've seen from Homelander. It's very wild to see that happen. I gotta say, it was fucking crazy. I have a little bit more of mixed feelings about Homelander, where I almost would have wanted him to live just as a normal dude, but then it kind of doesn't solve the problem. They can just make him a superhero again, I guess, but I guess it doesn't matter because they kill Homelander and then Vought still exists, so the problem still continues. And I don't know, it would have been cool to see him having to live as a human or just be in jail as a human. That actually, him being in jail as a human would have been totally fine. I think the Deep, I kind of wanted him to live so that he couldn't go in the water anymore. Like that's his only thing, his safe place, his whole superpower. That's where he actually is king and actually is important. And he cannot go in there. He can't even shit over a toilet because I'm pretty sure they're going to go through the toilet after him because they are on him. They're tracking him. Because the back half of the episode, we deal with the rest of the turn of Billy Butcher turning into the real villain in the end, kind of, I guess. And that's something that they were doing with season 4 that I loved. I loved him turning into an actual villain, and then they just take it all away in season 5. He just is just back as if none of that ever happened, and he's not on his like villain arc anymore. Like he really isn't. And I like how he still wants to do the right thing, and ultimately he forces Huey to kill him, basically. And that's not because he was actually gonna release the chemical to kill all the soups. Like that was more of a thing for him for paying for his sins, basically, for everything that he's done. This is retribution, I guess. And he kind of forces Huey to do it, knowing that Huey kind of has to do it. But like, I like how Ryan doesn't forgive him and he says, I didn't choose you over him. This is just, I knew that was the right thing to do. Like, I like that. I think it's very sad that they killed Terror, but that is like the needed push for him for Butcher to realize he can never go back to a normal life. And, some would argue that he's not allowed to be. And I like all this about it. I like this dynamic of the character. And that's why I really do like the final episode. It's just that we could have been dealing with this the whole season. Like, instead of us on this wild goose chase for V1 that ultimately meant nothing. It ultimately meant nothing in the end. It did nothing. Homelander did nothing with it. He got the V1 and then did nothing. He didn't have like extra strength or like blue laser eyes instead of red. Like nothing changed at all. It was fucking useless. Instead, that could have been towards Butcher's fall into madness, so that this ending part would have made more sense, where it's like, you won and you won, but now you have to stop him. It's like, this sounds crazy, but it's like, It's like in Naruto when they finally beat Obito and Madara and Kaguya and shit like that, and then Sasuke goes, okay, now it's my turn. I'm the villain again. Like, Sasuke, really, after all of that, we already had your villain arc, bro. We already had it. We already had it. Like, we already had Butcher's villain arc, and then they stopped. They chickened out, and then they turned back around to make it a more satisfying finale. Which, like, I still like this turn. I like that ends up being what happens, that Huey has to kill Butcher. It's, you know, comic book parallel, I guess, but they wasted so much time in season 5 that a lot of these moments end up falling a little bit flat. Like Sister Sage being rewarded in the end of all of this. Like, she gets her powers taken away and she's like happy. She's like, I'm going to Orlando and I'm going to Disney. And I know it's funny, but it's like she did so much crazy shit. And I know I'm kind of like it's so weird. Like, obviously, like, Butcher, you know what I mean, isn't going to come back from all the stuff that he did. And he goes like, yeah, maybe I can have like a normal ending. And then they're like, no, man, Ryan, you know, leaves him. His dog ends up dying. And I think the dog dies from radiation poisoning. I could be very wrong, but yeah, like the Deep, you know, is punished. Homelander's punished. For some reason, Sister Sage is like not at all, and I just didn't like that. That really did bother me, that how they just, the beginning of the episode, they very quickly had to be like, they had to cut ties fast. Cut ties with Sister Sage, get her out of there. They had to cut ties with Frenchie, do that right away. They had to cut ties with the Gen V characters, sideline the fuck out of them immediately so that you know exactly where we're going. The sidelining of the Gen V characters, oh my god, you can make a whole video on it yourself. It's Marie Monroe wasn't even driving the fucking truck when they left at the end of the scene. When they're like, we need you to save these people, drive them to point A to point B. She wasn't even the fucking truck driver, dude. She does nothing. It's insane. It's so sad to see, they advertise that this character will be super important and Gen V will be important to the finale of The Boys, and it's just not at all. Any characters could have done what those characters were doing in The Boys. It's very sad to see them sideline them, all the information we got, for them to give us a moment like we're supposed to care about this relationship between Starlight and Marie. It's like, thank you for being the annoying, you know, little bird in my ear that keeps me what I am, or whatever the fuck that was supposed to be. It's like, you've spoken 2 lines to this person. And the one line was, you can't even control your powers, even though you've revived people from the dead and shit like that. Marie Moreau, super fucking strong Marie Moreau. It's like, oh my god, what? What? That shit was so annoying. It was really bad, like really bad, you know? And while I'm complaining, Mother's Milk. Why the hell did Mother's Milk not fight Soldier Boy? What the fuck was that? Like, Jesus Christ. I'm so glad that he survived. I really didn't want them to recreate the Butcher versus Mother's Milk thing. I didn't want to see that at all. That would have made me very sad for MM's character. I'm really glad that he now basically is like Ryan's stepdad, and MM ends up marrying, you know, I can't remember his wife. I can't remember his wife's names actually. But anyways, you know, they all have happy endings and it's really good. That's like what you want. But at the same time, it's also incredibly safe. Like with the season that they had, they knew what they had to do and they did it. It's just, it could have been so much better. It could have been so much better. Like at this point, I would have been okay with Butcher releasing the virus and then them having to deal with that. Like, I don't know. Or just give me a 2-hour episode where the first hour is dealing with Homelander and the second hour is Butcher's fall, more of a fall. Because like all the moments, like it works, everything works. Ashley, you know, not having the back of her head talk to her for most of the episode was awesome. And then when they finally switch, because she's putting herself in danger, so she finally is like, okay, she is serious about helping people, and so she finally helps someone and gets some redemption and then gets impeached. Fucking hilarious. Like, I love that. Like, I like the stuff they did, but again, they wasted so much time in season 5. And season 4 also kind of annoyed me. I think season 3, like the season finale of season 3, was so good. And I thought the show could have ended at season 3. I thought it was. But then once I saw the conclusion, I was like, oh my god, they're going to keep going. And at that point, I wasn't as familiar with the comics, but I have read the comics and shit at this point. And the show did a much better job than the comics did. But I actually think the show could have done the comic book ending and made it really, really, really good. Changed a couple things. Like, I'm a little bit of a sucker for MM because in the comic book, like, everyone dies basically. Yeah. So it is disappointing, but I don't think it's a bad finale. Like, I don't think it's a bad finale. I think it is kind of a good finale. It's just a lot of things surrounding it are bad. That's kind of the issue. Like the advertisement, the building up for it, really the whole season in general, make the finale weaker when it could have been so much better. Overall, I still think The Boys is a great show. Obviously, I feel like it's a lot easier for me to sit here and complain about it than to kind of give it its flowers. But it's hard to give it its flowers when it does this fumble. People are already putting it up with, Stranger Things and what was the other show that I watched that had a really bad ending? The Umbrella Academy, like stuff like that. I don't think it's like that at all. Some of those endings are pretty bad. I think this one is a nice, comfortable medium. I saw IGN gave it an 8. Really, an out of 10 scale is just whatever you think, right? I think I kind of covered it all. Like, I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, if I'm being honest. I feel like there's a kind of general consensus going around already about the thoughts on the show and how it should have ended and stuff like that. Oh yeah, Game of Thrones was the other show people were comparing these endings to. But I guess I actually think it was good. I enjoyed it. It's just, once again, for the 50th time, they wasted so much time in season 5. I'd still recommend the show to people. I still think it's really good. I still would recommend Gen V as well. Like, Gen V is a good show. It's just, it will end abruptly. You should know that. I have no intention at all of watching Vought Rising or the other show, The Boys Mexico, I think it's called. Just no intention. Like, I'm just done. I don't care about it at all. The worst thing about the show is that they have grown to be what they have made fun of. They have lived long enough to become the villain, truly. And that's sad. But they did do a mid-credits BTS of like pictures of the crew, which I really, really, really liked. It's probably like the best part of the episode. So yeah, I will be definitely sad to see The Boys go, but 7 years, damn. For a show that went on for 7 years, it is crazy that they had to rush some of the stuff that they rushed. I think I already said that, but now I'm saying it again. Well, there you have it. I got a lot more where that came from on my channel, Just Jacob. I got my full Resident Evil playthrough, Bleach, Reaper of the Souls playthrough. I didn't notice that 4-week. Why do they do this? These look really weird now, but that's okay. I got lots more videos where that came from, is what I'm trying to say. And until next time, thank you so much until next time, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you so much for watching. And that shit was absolutely diabolical, mate. Peace.